Welcome back. Happy Monday. It's Monday again already. Ugh, Mondays. It's Mondays, but F1 has been kind of crazy since the race on Saturday. Obviously, we went live for the race. Very, very good race. I mean, we not say that. We kind of knew what we expected, but pretty sure everybody joined the stream, stuff like that. Obviously, Max Verstappen won the first race of the season. Pretty dominant performance. Pretty easy, pretty simple. Just overall max performance. Checo coming in second. Very good performance from Checo coming in second place. But obviously, Carlos Sainz coming in third. Very happy to see about that with him finishing above Charles Leclerc in fourth. But there's some other news I do want to talk to you guys about because obviously a lot of stuff has gone down. I'm seeing Alpine getting rid of their technical director, assistant, stuff like that. I'm seeing Dane Rick and Yuki arguing already, having some confrontation. We are one race in, guys. We are one race in. But we are going to check out some overreactions. Shout out to Nate Songs with the article. I'm going to link it down in the description down below. But hope you guys are doing good and amazing, man. You guys let me know you guys thoughts after the first race of the season. How you guys feeling? Are you guys surprised? Are we already expecting Verstappen to just dominate this season again? Most likely, yeah. I think he is gonna dominate this season. And I said this last year after like the first like 1 or 2 races, but this year looks pretty easy because the car just looks freaking just better than everybody. Like, how are we already seeing this? How his car looks absolutely dominant again this season, man. But let's just go and check some things out. Ferrari's closest challenger to Red Bull as of right now. I think overreaction. It was a solid start to the season for Ferrari, no doubt, but there's some important caveats to consider here. The first and most obvious being that Bahrain is just one race sample. The desert circuit has always been a bogey track for McLaren and to a lesser extent Mercedes, while Ferrari has traditionally been strong here. Without George Russell. Speaking of George Russell, before we get into it, hopes of challenging Carlos Sainz for a spot pulling were thought out. I thought Russell competed. I thought he looked a lot better than Lewis Hamilton. I think Lewis Hamilton finished like P8 or P9. Didn't really get into a race at all, and we kind of saw some similar things we saw of him last year. It just wasn't really in the mix. I was saying doing the watch along and all, like he just wasn't really in the mix. Like you didn't really hear of him. He was just chilling P8 P9. I think there's times he got past Alonso once, and maybe he had some things with like McLaren, but just wasn't really in the mix. I don't know what's going on with that. It's only the first race of the season, so I'm not really going to overreact about that. But I mean, it's just the year George Russell beats Hamilton again. I mean, who knows? But it's Mercedes. Obviously, from McLaren, like I said, pretty quiet from there as well from Lando and Piastri. Obviously, they both finished inside the top 10. But the Ferraris look better than them this past weekend. So race wise, like I said, you guys know me. I don't really watch practices and the quality stuff like that. But credit to them. I am gonna get to like the other teams throughout the video, but I just want to go by the article and just see how it is. Then we'll tap into other teams because there's some things I don't really want to talk about. Alpine, like I said, I touched on Alpine early on in the video, losing their like technical director assistant. Then they both cars just weren't good. They weren't good in the race. Kick, Sauber, whatever, very, very quiet from Valtteri and Guan Yu, I think finished with P11. I think he was in the mix for P10. I think he lost it towards the end. So it's good to see. Williams, I think Sargent kind of spun out. He did finish the track, but that's just that. Red Bull is in a different galaxy. I told the Wolf said, yeah. I mean, like I said, as soon as the race started, you kind of just knew it was over with. I mean, and that's the thing about this domination period from Red Bull. Like, I know a lot of people talked about like it being boring or stuff like that. I've said this is my first time really seeing a dominance like this happen. So am I expecting Red Bull? And I know I did say during the like the preseason stuff like that. Like, I'm not expecting Red Bull to do this again. I was dead ass wrong. I expect them to do this again. I expect them to do this again. This is absolutely just dominant performance from them. Red Bull has delivered a fantastic car in the RB20, and especially when in the hands of Verstappen, it's a different beast to the rest. If Checo can get his head around the qualifying issues, yeah, I don't think he qualified very well, but he managed to finish P2. There's no reason I think he'll always be close to chasing pack as he was in Bahrain. Very good race by Checo. Very happy to see about him. That's very, very good to see. And Alpine, like I said, a team in deep trouble. After poor test, dead last in qualifying, made little improvement during the race. Alarm bells turned as emerged technical director Matt Harmon and head of Aero Dirk De Beer. Essentially, the two-man guy the design of the car handling the resignation ahead of the season. That's not good. So it seems like there's a lot of stuff going on. The Alpine team, I'm not really sure why that's going on. If you guys know about that, let me know in the comments down below. But I mean, after one race, we're losing, technical director and the head of Aero. Now you got to bring somebody after the race and Saudi Arabia this upcoming weekend. It's not a good look. I'm not really expecting Alpine to have another good race this upcoming weekend. So, but we'll see, man. We will see, but I'm not really expecting to have a really good race this upcoming season. To borrow a quote from Edmund Blackadder, this is a crisis, a large crisis, a 12-story crisis with a magnificent entrance hall carpeting throughout 24-hour portage and an enormous sign on the roof saying this is a large crisis. Situation will be galling to both Gasly and Ocon, two drivers who hope to be taking steps up F1 competitive careers at the stage of their careers. Well, F1's competitive order at the stage of their career. But it's not looking good for Alpine, man. I know we kind of said about McLaren last year. They didn't really start, but then they got going. But McLaren is a much better team than Alpine. And Alpine have Ocon, Gasly, two decent drivers, not the best, but two decent. I said during the offseason as well, I expect them to be middle of the pack. Better than the RB Cash Apps and Sauber and stuff like that, but below the Aston Martin stuff like that. I said the biggest challenge for them is can they, beat Aston Martin this season. And Aston Martin wasn't really that great. I know Lance Stroll had a little incident early on again, but he did manage to finish the race out, and I think both of them did finish very, very strong. RB. Now this is what I do want to talk about RB Cash App. Danny Rick and teammate Yuki Tsunoda both finished outside the points in P13, P14 respectively. During the race, you guys do remember, I think they were arguing about giving the spot. I think they wanted Yuki to give a spot to Danny Rick. Yuki wasn't really going for it. Now some issues, and obviously it seemed like these issues have kind of kept going, and it's not really been that great. RB's first race under his new guys finished in controversial circumstances. Yuki delayed obeying a team order to swap positions with his teammate later on, a decision which was not reversed when Danny Rick was unable to get past K-Mag. 12th. Oh, I forgot about Haas. Nico Hülkenberg, I don't really know what to really explain that. I didn't really see him. I know K-Mag wasn't in that little P12, P13 battle with them. Shout K-Mag. He ain't get no points, but shout K-Mag. And then Tsunoda then dive bomb Danny Rick on a cooldown lap and drove past him, linked to Danny Rick to call him out for immaturity. Many fans felt the incident showed where the team priorities lie this year. And he feels like it's an overreaction. Yuki clearly felt aggrieved by what took place. And also, as well, Danny Rick and team said the possibility of a driver swap was discussed before races. Both are likely to be on different strategies later on. Mapping out scenarios like that is common practice. Now, I've always told you guys, about teams, about, drivers swapping out positions for, a lesser position. It's a competitive sport. You guys do want to finish as high as they can in this standing. So, yeah, there's going to be some, why am I getting swapped out? Why is my spot getting swapped out for another spot? You know what I mean? So, I get that. But is this going to be a problem that we have all season? Who knows? But obviously, Danny Rick is, the head vet in this team compared to Yuki. So, you can say Danny Rick's supposed to be, a mentor to Yuki Tsunoda. But Yuki probably feels like, hey, this is my team. He joined it halfway through the season, really, towards the end of last season. That's not fair. I mean, is Red Bull, making Danny Rick their, star child of the team? Is that fair on Yuki? I don't feel like, but we will see. And then last is the dominance. It's always complaints about F1 dominance are not a dig at the dominant team, but any sport, F1 relies on the entertainment value to keep a fan base. In 2023 was a difficult season to watch given how predictable it all was out in front. You can hype the fight for second, third, fourth, or fifth as much as you want, but ultimately, jeopardy out in front is what F1 needs from its on-track product. With stopping Red Bull in its current group, that just isn't the case. History dictates this will be bad for business. Viewership dipped significantly in the dominant Hamilton-Mercedes days of the mid to late 2010s, and that partnership never produced the winning streaks and records for stopping Red Bull are setting now. Schumacher's Ferrari dominance was also bad for business at the start of the Millennium. Ooh, that was nasty. I can't believe I said that. That was nasty. But as I said, I touched on this earlier on again. Seeing one team, winning every single race like we saw last year is not going to be fun for a lot of fan bases, because a lot of people are like, okay, like it, because if you think probably the new people entering F1, they may be like, well, what's the point of me watching a race so I know who's going to win every time? You know what I mean? And last year was a big example of that. Because outside Carlos Sainz, it was Red Bull. And I think fans don't really want to see that. And obviously we know like how like F1 wants to grow the base, especially here in the States. Because with the Vegas race, and obviously you have Texas, stuff like that, Miami. Fans ain't trying to see one team win a race. So I know, especially I'm not, but I mean, what can you do if Red Bull are just a tier above everybody else? Like, Red Bull's just car, the drivers, their, team in general is just better than everybody else. You can't really do too much because that's just how Red Bull are. But, I mean, if Red Bull is still significantly ahead 12 months from now, rival teams might look at, well, shifting autofocus to the next car straight away. So we will see. But after one race, you guys, let me know you guys' thoughts about the F1 season, just overall thoughts about it. Don't forget to like the video and sub as well, guys. Take care. Stay amazing. Be safe. Peace.